You know, it's maybe the oldest and most painful question humanity has ever known. It's a question that echoes in the silence of hospital rooms, in the ruin of disasters, and in the quiet of our own personal tragedies. This question brings us to one of history's most profound and challenging attempts to grapple with it, the ancient Book of Job. This right here, this is the question that just beats at the very heart of this ancient poem. It challenges everything we think we know about justice, about fairness, about the very nature of the universe itself. And the book, it doesn't just ask the question, it confronts it head-on, in the most extreme way you can imagine. So, to make the problem as sharp as possible, the story introduces us to this guy, Job. And look, he isn't just a good man, he's the best. Blameless and upright. He has thousands of sheep and camels, this huge family, and a reputation for being unbelievably devout. He even offers sacrifices for his kids, just in case they had a single bad thought about God. And then, just like that, the camera pulls back, way back from the dust of the earth, up into the corridors of heaven, into the divine council itself. And we learn that Job's flawless life has not gone unnoticed. In fact, it's attracted some cosmic attention.
Okay, so when you hear that, your mind probably jumps straight to the devil, right? Horns, pitchfork, the whole deal. But the original Hebrew here is actually way more specific. It's not a proper name, it's a title.
So think of this figure less like a demon and more like a celestial prosecutor, almost like a divine intelligence agent. His job is to roam the earth, testing the integrity of humanity, looking for the cracks in our devotion, and then bringing those accusations before God. And he has set his sights on Job.
And this is where the entire drama ignites. The accuser puts forward this deeply cynical theory, that human goodness is just a transaction. Job isn't righteous because he loves God. He's righteous because God has paid him off with prosperity. It's a cosmic wager, a test of the very nature of faith, and God allows the test to begin.
And the devastation, it's immediate and it's total. In a single day, the entire fabric of his world is ripped to shreds. Messenger after messenger arrives, each one bringing a new, unthinkable horror. His wealth, gone. His entire family, wiped out. And then finally, his own body is racked with this agonizing affliction, leaving him a broken man on a pile of ashes.
What's just incredible is that facing this absolute total ruin, Job doesn't curse God. He passes the first test. He tears his robes in grief, of course, but he falls to his knees and worships, proving the accuser's theory wrong. But the story, it is far from over.
After Job has lost literally everything, his 3 closest friends show up to comfort him. And for 7 days and 7 nights, they just sit with him in perfect empathetic silence. But when they finally open their mouths to speak, man, their wisdom just pours salt in his wounds. What's fascinating is how their logic works. Each friend uses these different poetic metaphors. Eliphaz talks about lions, Bildad about reeds, but they all land on the exact same conclusion. They believe in this neat, tidy universe of strict justice. And in their world, if you're suffering this much, you must have committed some terrible secret sin to deserve it.
But Job knows he's innocent, and his friends' relentless accusations, they push him right to the breaking point. So he does something absolutely breathtakingly bold. He officially files a lawsuit against God. He demands a trial and calls the Almighty to the witness stand for a direct answer.
And believe it or not, Job gets his day in court. The sky goes dark, this massive storm gathers on the horizon, and a voice, the voice of God, just booms from the chaos of the whirlwind. But God doesn't give Job the answer he expects. In fact, he doesn't give an answer at all. Instead, he begins a cross-examination of his own. God's response is basically a virtual tour of the entire cosmos, and it starts by just completely resetting the scale. It's a question designed to show the vast, unbridgeable gap between a finite human perspective and the infinite view of the Creator. He keeps going, right? Using the raw, untamable power of nature as Exhibit B. I mean, Job is in agony, sure, but can he command the tides? Can he set the boundaries for the raging sea? The point is that the world operates on this level of awesome complexity that's way beyond human comprehension or control. Then the tour zooms in, from the cosmic scale right down to the biological. God walks him through the wild animal kingdom, asking if he provides for the lions, or if he knows the exact moment when the mountain goats give birth. God is showing his intimate, moment-by-moment involvement in a world teeming with life that Job can't even begin to manage.
So here's the absolute crucial point. Job has accused God of mismanaging the universe, all based on his own, very limited, very painful experience. And God's response is basically, you are judging a masterpiece from a single brushstroke. There's a grand and intricate order at work here that is simply beyond your frame of reference. And just when you think the cosmic tour is done, God brings out his final exhibits. He summons these two massive, terrifying, mysterious beasts from the depths of imagination that represent the final, shocking piece of this puzzle.
First up, the Behemoth. Now, people debate what it is, a hippo, maybe even a dinosaur, but the description is just larger than life. It's a symbol of immense, untamable land-based power, a creature whose bones are like bronze and whose strength no human could ever hope to conquer.
But as big as Behemoth is, it is nothing compared to the second creature, the Leviathan. God spends an entire chapter on this thing, a fire-breathing sea dragon with impenetrable armor, so fearsome that even the mighty are terrified of it. But this isn't just a bedtime story about a monster. And this is where it all clicks. In the ancient world, Leviathan was the embodiment of chaos itself. Leviathan is the cancer diagnosis. It's the unexpected car wreck. It's the tsunami. It's all the wild, dangerous, disordered parts of our world that bring senseless suffering. And this is the absolute climax of God's entire testimony. He is saying to Job, look, the world you live in contains real disorder, real danger that is far beyond your control. You can't tame Leviathan, but I can. God is the only one who holds ultimate power over the chaos of life. And in that moment, everything changes for Job. See, he doesn't get a neat little formula for why he suffered. What he gets is so much more profound, a real encounter with the one who holds this chaotic universe together. He moves from demanding an explanation to just standing in absolute awe. And for a lot of people, the story doesn't even end there. Later traditions would see in Job's suffering a kind of echo, a foreshadowing of another innocent one, another righteous man who was tested, stripped of everything, and forsaken by his friends. The big difference is that this figure, Jesus, wasn't just demanding answers from God, he was God, entering into our suffering to face down the ultimate chaos, death itself. In the end, the book of Job doesn't give you a simple formula for why bad things happen to good people. It doesn't. Instead, it totally reframes the question. It invites us not to find a tidy reason for our pain, but to find a trustworthy person in our pain. It asks if we can trust the character of the God who is powerful enough to command the cosmos and yet loving enough to enter into its chaos right alongside us.